Alright, finally starting to do some cooking with our grains, and there's a video kind of showing what we're up to now. And my wife's taken such good care of me the last couple of weeks, I decided to buy her a surprise gift, and I picked her up one of these bread ovens, this Virtuoso, and it's supposed to be a really good one for using for your own home ground flour and stuff like that. So I actually got a really good deal on Amazon on it. I don't know why. I put it in my cart, and the next day they had $60 off, so I ordered it. And this is what it looks like, all packed up. Comes with a cookbook and a couple paddles. This one has a 2-pound baking capacity. It also has customizable programs for home grains, so that should be good. So that's kind of what it looks like. Let me get my wife to pick it up on the counter because I still can't pick up much. And there it is. Just a piece of tape holding the top on there. And I don't know why they put these stickers on like that, but a little tough to pull off sticker. At least it didn't leave any marks. Now, I saw that this one had extremely high ratings, and with the programmable options and easy to use for home grains, I really liked it, so I decided to go with this. Plus, this one only uses 700 watts total. That's pretty crazy. All the other ones really were energy hogs, so this one does a nice job at a lower wattage, so it's really energy efficient, I think. It did come with some measuring cups, liquid cups, dry cups, and there's what the pan looks like. 2-pound pan with 2 paddles, really heavy duty, cast aluminum, no stick coated. Comes with a recipe book to get started, and another one in a different language. And liquid cups and the dry cups, and the measuring spoon, teaspoon, and tablespoon. That's pretty much what it looks like, and I will tell you that we did have some failures to start out with that I'm not really going to show you, but it was my own fault. Actually, it was the Mockmill's fault, I found out. So my wife wanted it on the counter right next to the mill there, so that's a nice spot for it. And kind of hard to see what's going on in there, but we did try a loaf of bread, and this is the first loaf of whole wheat, and you can see it came out kind of ugly looking, all smashed, dropped in the center, and really good flavor and texture, but it just didn't rise right and didn't cook right. It was cooked fully, but it just wasn't looking good. And the next one we tried a pound cake recipe in there, same thing. Center of it flopped down. Excellent taste, texture, flavor, everything was good, but just the look of it wasn't good. Oh yeah, here's some these animals my wife's working on for the kids for Christmas. So that's another thing she's got going on there. And yesterday was a really cool day, finally. We had to light up the wood stove and get some of the dampness out of the house. Just really cool and damp. So that's a welcome addition. And that fan there still works great on it. I love that little fan. Anyhow, so decided yesterday to make another loaf, and this time we figured out what the problem was, and it was the Mockmill. When it grinds the grain, it gets it so hot. If you use the flour right away, it messes with the yeast and makes it rise too fast, I think. So here I am in the morning. I'm going to grind up some grain for using that later on. And I needed 4 cups of flour. So I'm going to grind a little bit over 3 cups of actual red wheat, hard red wheat. And let's see, my light's been flashing on and off. Another thing that's dying on me. But I've got the Mockmill all set up, and I've got it set pretty much on the finest grind. You just slide it forward till you can hear the stones in there start to hit. And then pour the grain in the top, and it starts coming out slowly. It's a real slow process with this, and the grain comes out extremely hot. I really don't like it, but it does work good. So I guess what I'm doing now is I'm going to grind in the morning and let it cool all day to room temperature, and then use it later. I definitely like that beaver grinder better. It's a lot faster and it doesn't create the heat, and you do get a finer grind with it too. But that's just not set up to be used yet. Hopefully in a couple weeks when I can start moving things around and picking things up, I'll get that set up. But in the meantime, my wife likes this little one. You know, it does work good, and you can see just how long it does take to grind a couple cups of flour. Extremely slow, and it's a little stinky smell coming out of the motor too when you grind fine. I think it's really working hard. And I found out you can't double grind the flour because there's like a little cross hatch thing over the feed in the bottom of the funnel there, and the flour just kind of gets hooked up in there if you try to re-grind it. So you know, this one definitely doesn't work as good as the Beaver, but it does get the job done. And you just have to, you know, work around it and start early, let the flour cool, and make sure that you mill it as fine as you can the first time. I'm finding out. There you go. I should have got the thermometer out, but it's just, I'll check it next time I grind a batch. But anyhow, I just figured I'd show you how this works and just how long it takes. So definitely, if you got the space and you know, the power and everything else for that big Beaver one, I'd definitely go that way. But otherwise, if you're just going to use a little thing on the counter like this and, you know, not make a lot of flour, this is a good option too. Definitely is slow though. I just figured I'd run this whole grinding process here. And in the end, I wound up with just about 5 cups of flour. I'll show you. I just keep peeking. And there it is. Shake it a little bit, try to get the last bit of it out. And I do run rice between, I take it apart and run some rice in there to clean the stones every once in a while. But you can see it's a, you know, it's pretty decent flour. It does grind up, and that's a hard red wheat, and it is extremely hot right now, so we'll let that cool down for a while. First, I'm going to just measure out to make sure that I do have the 4 cups that I need, and pretty much you can see there's definitely 4 cups. So a little less than 3 cups of the red hard wheat will make 4 cups of flour. But I like to make a little extra, and we have a container in the freezer. We put in the extra, and we can use that just for like quick things like pancakes and stuff like that. So there you can see I got just about 5 cups out of a little bit over 3 cups of berries. And there's how you adjust the grinding. You just kind of slide that forward and back to adjust the grind. Yep. Okay, so here we are. It's about 7 hours later when the flour's all cooled down, and my wife's going to make a loaf of the whole wheat bread. This is the recipe that's included with the bread machine, and we've been using those recipes. And as I said, you know, up till now we hadn't really gotten them right because we used the hot flour, and when you put the yeast in on the hot flour, it makes it overactive, I think, and then when you cook it, it starts to collapse. So we're hoping this will solve it, and you'll see in the end that it actually did. So now it's a matter of getting the 4 cups of flour. The recipe book calls for 4 1/4 cups, but from what I found out, you go with a little bit less flour when you're using home ground. And my wife's measuring this out, and this is just so easy to use. You just dump everything in this bucket. You have to follow the directions, you know, in the order that they tell you to put it in. And this bread does use a little bit of sugar. It really doesn't come out that sweet. It just gives it a nice flavor with the wheat. And just a little bit of honey. And then it also uses some of the vital wheat gluten that actually makes bread a little bit tougher. It's like Makes it so that it's it doesn't just kind of fall apart and crumb apart on you. It really does give it a nice texture. And a little bit of the dried milk powder also goes in this recipe. And these are really great recipes in the book to follow. And we'll be working on some other ones because we want to, try some of their pizza doughs and stuff like that. Even though my wife has one worked out by hand. But getting kind of hard for her sometimes to stand there and knead the flour and mix it together and stuff. And I just figured this would be a big help. And just for things like the standard sandwich bread, I think it's really a great option. Because you just put everything in the bucket. And then you go in, put it in the machine. And a couple hours later, you've got a nice fresh loaf of bread. And you have to make sure that you use the right yeast there too. So that this snaps down in the machine, locks in place. This is really a very well-made machine from what I've seen so far. It also has a heating element in the top, but it's only 700 watts is the amazing part. And one thing we did find out is when you finish up a loaf, you have to hit cancel before you start the next loaf. And then you just pick the number of the one that you want to run. If you're using the actual recipe book, otherwise you can program it yourself also for a different recipe. And once you set the recipe, that sets everything: the time, the baking time, the kneading time, the resting time, the punch down time. It just does it automatically. And then you just hit start. And it gives you the time that the bread will be finished. So you can see it's about 6 o'clock now, and the bread will be done at 9:02 tonight. Last night, actually. You can see it's about 5:45. So this is a fairly long one. And there it is in the book. It tells you, how to put the things in, and then it tells you the actual time required, and the machine is programmed when you hit that course 2. To run this exact type of bread, which really is nice. And quick look inside there. You can't see much because it's dark, and it's dark out now, but those 2 paddles really do a nice job of whooping it up in there. And 3 hours later, it beeps. It's done, and looks like we have success this time. Let's pull it out of here. Beautiful looking fresh loaf of fresh ground red wheat bread. Oh, it smells so good. And the bread comes right out of this thing. You get 2 little holes in the bottom from the paddles. I like how the paddles are small and tapered so they don't make a big mess in there like some of the machines do. And perfectly baked, everything is just perfectly golden. And what a job that thing does. No work at all. Just dump the ingredients in, and that's what the bread looks like. So toast in the morning. Here we are the next morning. And I'm going to cut a couple slices here to give you an idea of what it looks like. And nice. Cuts nice. I actually do have a new bread knife on the way. I ordered one from that Amazon Prime Day. And you can see it's just a beautiful loaf of sandwich bread. And it doesn't fall apart or anything. It's got, nice texture. And it's just smells so good. Actually, it tasted really good too. We were real happy with it. So fresh when you just grind the grain and make it yourself. It's so easy too. So glad we just started getting into this. And there you can see it's really just this machine is perfect for making this type of bread. And you also can make up your doughs to do other types of bread that you bake in the oven also. It's got different cycles, but that's what it looks like. Really a beautiful loaf with no work at all. Give you a little bit closer look there. No big pockets or holes or anything. Nice even texture, and really, really nice. Well, everything was well mixed up. The machine does a wonderful job, and like I said, you do get 2 little holes in the bottom from the paddles. You can't help, but they do mix it beautifully, and they knead it beautifully. And my wife's toasted up some and found out we've got to get a bigger toaster now. This is a little bit bigger slices than fit in our toaster, so you kind of got to try to flip them and not burn them. But anyhow, you know, that's what it looks like, and it's beautiful. Now, my wife did come up with some pizza dough recipes. Hopefully, I can do a video about them when we get them fully worked out. Have to make them a little chewier. But anyhow, I just wanted to show you this machine. I'm really glad that I picked it up for her because it does a good job. And if you have failures like this in the beginning, they taste good and, you know, they're really good to eat and everything, but just don't look right. And, you know, it's going to be something you have to troubleshoot. And once you get it right, everything goes well. Well, this Mockmill 200 is, you know, it does do a great job on the flour. Just you have to make sure you do it early and let it cool down because the flour gets so darn hot when it's ground by it. But anyhow, you know, when you get everything comes together, there's what a loaf looks like, and it's just a wonderful feeling to get a good loaf. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.